Hey, this is Steve, and you're watching Live, Work, Live, the channel dedicated to remote workers and the work from anywhere movement. Today, I'm not in my home office, as you can tell. Let's get to it. Today, I took the show on the road a little bit and decided to leave home base and show you what it's like when I really do work from anywhere. So first of all, there's the laptop. So my company supplies me with a good MacBook Pro. It's very useful. It's funny, I don't really use it at home. I use my Alienware PC, Aurora PC, which is much more powerful than even this. But this is very good and gets the job done for what I need. It does have a built-in web camera, which is, not the best compared to some of the webcams that I use or professional photography equipment, but I do like it, and it is useful for these sorts of situations, and most people just use their webcams built into their computers. I also have my cell phone, which obviously is great for texting, but it has a backup feature here, which I like to use, which is can turn this into a hotspot. I have the T-Mobile plan, which is available in the Magenta Max plan, which gives me 100 gigabytes of 5G data when used as a hotspot every month. So that's more than enough to cover a few days of full-time use, but I'll only use this today for maybe a couple of hours. And I get very good reception and 5G service here downtown in Woodstock. But I also brought as a backup this is my new Netgear AT&T hotspot. This is a dedicated hotspot. The plan I have gives me another 100 gigabytes of AT&T up to 5G service on this every month. So between the two, I have 200 gigabytes a month of data, which for most people would be more than enough, except the fact that when I use my data, I'm almost always on screen, on Zoom or on Microsoft Teams all the time. And because I do a lot of presentations, I'm often streaming video from my computer to users in other locations. So that can take up quite a bit of bandwidth. So I wanted to make sure that I'm not going to run out. Also, I wanted to have two different carriers because I live in a relatively rural area, and depending where I am, one might be better or stronger than the other. So it's always good to have a backup. You might want to check out my last video where I try to add a different type of internet, specifically satellite internet, and I'll show you how that worked for me personally in my situation. So as you can see, there's currently no internet where I am. That makes sense because I'm not hooked up to anything. So I'm going to show you the speed differences I have here in Woodstock with both my T-Mobile plan and my AT&T dedicated hotspot. Okay, so we're connected to my T-Mobile plan. Not so great right here, as you can see. It looks like I'm going to get about 7 megabytes per second down and about 4 or so up. I think we can do better than that with my AT&T. Okay, we are now connected using the AT&T Netgear hotspot, and let's see how we do here. Okay, so quite a bit better. Yeah, I'm going to get about 30 plus down. Oh, 40. That's very good. Maybe even 50. So this is high speed. This is good enough for video, although the up is not as strong. It's really interesting that the up is really not so good. All right, well, I'm going to have to try my video call and see how this works. Do you currently work remotely? If so, where? And if you can work anywhere in the world remotely, where would you work from? Go ahead and drop me an answer in the comments below. Okay, so I just finished a meeting and I'm doing it here in this little kind of public eating area in downtown Woodstock, New York. I'm about a mile from my home base, but gosh, this is a beautiful spot. So one thing I really love about the town of Woodstock are all the little nooks and crannies that are hidden away. It's known to be an area where there's lots of little creeks and people go swimming in the creeks, but the creek actually goes right through the center of town. There's a little footbridge that goes over it as well, and it's actually right behind me. So let me show you where I'm at so you can find this if you're ever here looking for a place to eat or a place just to relax and get some work done. All right, let's go. So we are right here on the corner of Tinker Street and Tannery Brook Road. You can see there's the little creek going by. And as you're walking on the 212 or Tinker Street, you'll see Tinker Taco Lab and the Tequila and Mezcal Bar sign here, as well as this awesome little cupcake company. And then you just walk right off of the sidewalk, you know, alongside the creek, and you will see this great little picnic spot. Now, when this is open, you really should not take outside food here. You really should be using or eating from the Tinker Taco Lab or the cupcake store, because, you know, it gets crowded and people need places to sit, especially during COVID. People want to sit outside. So I only come here with outside food on the days that they're closed, like today. Seeing like part of the creek kind of goes right by here. Here you can see my setup. And it's just really sweet and special. And you can see right over there with the red windows, that is the Tinker Taco Lab. As I said, we will come back another day. But isn't this great? It's shaded, it's beautiful. This is like perfect Woodstock. This is one of the reasons why I love to live here. You know, so much of YouTube is filled with people working side hustles, special entrepreneurial gigs, you know, anything but a traditional job. And sometimes I feel like people look down on or talk badly of people who work 9-to-5 corporate style jobs because they see that as being restricting or making you feel trapped. But I gotta tell you, since working remotely, I do not feel that way. And I wouldn't trade my corporate job for anything else. I make good, solid money. I have fantastic benefits. I work with a super talented team. I don't feel alone or isolated. And I know what my job is on a daily basis. So I'm actually able to control my lifestyle, control my destiny, control my workflow, and plan accordingly. The missing piece for me has always been the office and having to go into an office and being stuck geographically to work in my field, to live in a very expensive market such as New York City. So, you know, this pandemic, forcing people to go remote and then seizing on that opportunity to convince my company to let us stay remote, this has been the biggest blessing in my life. So I think, let me know if you think that that is a topic that you'd be interested in hearing more about, how to convince your company to let you stay remote. I think it is a big unanswered question that I'm going to address in a video very shortly. So I hope you've enjoyed this little peek into my life. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Until next time, remember, work is not a place, it's a pursuit.